like a dirty shirt.
Faithful listener to Inane Blather here on Pirate Radio.
So
Episode 99. Episode 99 of two idiotic jerks talking to each other about having inane perspectives on not so inane subjects most of the time. But where also we encourage all of you to spay and neuter your pets and play music to your cows because it helps them produce more milk.
Very true.
You will only know this by listening to 99 episodes of a podcast mostly intended for packs of wild, raving, lunatic...
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
Nice.
Yeah, I read that as a Snapple fact. It finally gave me a new one. I don't know. Snapple's got to up their game because I like going to their Snapple facts. I don't like drinking their product very much, but I do like the little Snapple facts website. And every time I randomize, see, it's happening again. It just gives me the same Snapple facts.
They know you haven't been buying their stuff, so they're like, fuck you.
I guess. It's like, I know that mangoes have noses. What do I do with this information other than know it? And that's all I do. That's all I know at this point.
It's about mangoes. Yeah.
Is that mangoes have noses and the King of Hearts is the only king without a mustache. Okay.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
Anyway, I am feeling light and feeling groovy. Just in a lot better mood than usual. I found out, the test came back. I am not the father. No. But I know that you had to work today. But you had a good weekend with me as far as I know. How are you feeling, Natalie?
Yeah, I had a great weekend. I had a super...
Great weekend.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. We played so much music. It was just really fun. Just really... What a great weekend. Who could ask for anything more?
Yeah, we weren't using instruments. We tuned into that old cable station, Much Music, and we just had it going. So much music. So much music.
Yeah, that's kind of our thing. But it today took a sharp downturn, I would say, in that it was a Monday. We hate to see it.
So good to me.
And... just real fucking assholes that I was talking to today. Honestly, like someone made me cry. I cried at work today because someone was just so like I snapped back. I snapped back at someone.
Snap back like the hats that I wear.
That I normally definitely wouldn't be like that, but she just was like bad attitude. It's like, what got you to give, and just complaining, so mad that I called, at all. And it's like, I get so much from you, getting phone calls and stuff like that. And it's like, what do you say after it had been there. Like, I'm like, well, that's why we're getting people involved in this way, get you off your call list. And it's like, well, what do you say, if it makes me want to give less, I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart, and it makes me not want to give when people like ask. And I was like, it sounds like, I was like, what I say is, it sounds like you're not giving from the goodness of your heart. And she was like,
sounds like it's a
excuse me?
convenience thing.
And I was like, I'm just here to get you involved in something you care about in the way that's best for us. You can just say no. And she was like, well, then I'm saying no. And I was like, okay, thank you. Bye. After just like...
That's all it would take.
It just was such like I took a break after that and I cried. And it just made me feel like... all these East Coast motherfuckers just being like, okay, what I was saying is like, people in DC, they think that they've already got it all figured out. No one wants to give you
listeners on the East Coast.
Well, fuck
I
you.
wonder.
No, just kidding. I feel bad for you. Honestly, it's like what we said.
Insane.
Like pride themselves in this like straightforward sort of thing. It comes off as incredibly fucking arrogant, is what I get from a lot of these conversations. Is they think they're so much smarter than me. Their time is so much more valuable. I really feel dehumanized doing this one when I'm fundraising for a food bank that these people give to. I'm calling people
You're
that
calling
give
to people who have already given.
and saying there's an easier, more effective way for us like to have this done. So can I talk to you about it? Because the need is great. You already give, you know it's important. So like, let's do this in this way. You can say no, duh. Some people say that really makes a lot of sense and they get involved and they're like, I'm happy to do it, you know? But it's just like, don't even let you have like a second. Yeah, I know what you guys are doing. I know. It's like, bitch, if you knew, then you'd already be doing it this way. And I
Then
wouldn't
you
be
wouldn't be on
fucking
my call
calling
list.
you. Exactly. It's like, you'd already be giving on a recurring basis. We could count on your, you know, donation and blah, 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 blah. It was just like that. Like I just really, really, really did not enjoy that conversation. She just really got my... Yeah, I'm usually pretty much like, yeah, I'm sorry, you know, like, though I wasn't like, I didn't yell it, but I was like, well, it just sounds like you're not giving out of the goodness of your heart. And I just laughed and like...
You want me to keep it 100 with you? Because
it's like,
what you're saying makes no sense, bitch.
You're having no problem keeping it 100 with me, I'll tell you that much. Just like, straight up, like... being like, what? So then you just get to talk to me like this and then say, excuse me? Like when you're just berating me, bitch?
Yeah.
Like
That's the thing where you can tell where it's like, oh, what do you mean? It's like, have you not? I mean, the answer is no.
Have you been here for this
but
fucking conversation?
Have you not been listening to yourself for the last 5 minutes? It's funny. Phone calls, especially anything when you're dealing with person after person, anyone who does it knows. And I think, it just reminds me of, you know, the dumb discourse centered around Hassan from a couple months ago that I think we talked about on the show about work that drains your social battery and stuff like that, and how people are like, it's not hard, try construction. It's like, you just don't understand. Like, it's totally different to be mentally
so hard
and
to be in
emotionally
construction where you're just going to tell people to shut the fuck up all the time, where you're just going to yell at each other and be a fucking asshole to your coworkers and like have no repercussions for like being in a bad mood or whatever. You could just be like, hey, fucking give me that bullshit, whatever. And here it's like, sorry, I know, I get. And you're just getting fucking yelled at, and people
have to get walked over. Yeah. And it's like, it's funny. But I went to this last week, the annual meeting of the minds of the, rapacious
greatest minds of our
carnivores,
our lifetime.
At a business association meeting, a trade association meeting or conference. But it was funny. Almost all of it is so boring, but one of the speakers was easily the best one. She's very successful in what she does, and there's good reason for it. And it was a lot of customer-focused things. And, I work in storage, and I talked to a couple people afterwards where I'm like, see, no matter what, even if you have stories about customers, like let's say you work in storage, you have storage stories. Sprinkle those in, everyone's on board. There's things that are funny, things that still no one has ever heard before if they've done this for a long time, things that you can relate to and be like, oh my gosh, I've been there, stuff like that. It had me thinking of, where it's like, I'm pretty good at what I do in terms of dealing with people just on a basic, business transaction level for sure. And there have been very, very few, but, memorable times that I lost it, where it's like, it's been a long, long time since anyone ever made me cry from doing the work. But I just immediately was thinking, I was like, man, I remember when I told that person to shut up over the phone. I told him to shut up. And I was like, it's so wild. Like, even thinking about what got me to that, because, and it's like, because some people, it's just impossible. It's impossible.
It's
it almost made me
impossible.
feel better that I held it in as good as I had, and that this person had gotten to me that well, learning afterwards that they were literally like, psychotic. I mean, and it's funny. It's like, gosh, I remember that. That was crazy. I told someone to shut up. And it's like, wow, really? It's like, well, yeah, he had already literally threatened my life, threatened to kill me over the phone. And even then, you still think it's like, that's crazy that I told him to shut up on the phone. Like, wow, I'm glad that wasn't one of the recorded lead calls, Oh, boy.
My calls are recorded, so... But
yeah, no, most of mine are. Yeah, but I just remember that was over the regular landline. There was no, I was like, good God.
Yeah.
But when it comes to those people, like who was talking to you, that's exactly why.
American people are tired of women.
Yeah, but
it was a woman.
But yeah, well, I'm glad that hey, the day's over. Just plodding on.
There
the
was
next
a couple
one.
cool people, and I did get some people involved, and blah blah blah. And it comes with the territory, and it's like someone has to do it, and I'm lucky, that I feel lucky, my personality or whatever, I can stand it, and blah 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 blah. But some days it's like this list, it's like. Man, never get a break from these people that just like don't want to talk to you. And it's like, but I really care about this work too. Like I'm like, fuck yeah, like helping people get food, like especially near the nation's capital. Like why are there so many people that are food insecure if it's right where all the rules about like how we should be living and stuff are being made, and like it just is.
Oops.
Yeah.
Whoops. Sorry.
But, I know.
Yeah, and you still put in all of that effort, despite the fact
Natalie hates non-binary people,
and I'm sure that some non-binary people are fed through this program.
Let's hope
despite
not.
your constant,
objections,
never-ending objections. But yeah, I mean, at least you're doing something for the good, and it makes it hurt even that much more when you're dealing with those people too.
It feels better.
Like,
it's rewarding.
On.
Exactly. It's rewarding, but it also is like, fuck you. Like I really, it's like you don't. That's the closest I've come to telling someone pretty much. It's like, then you don't fucking care about this cause. If you're just doing it, people have kind of told me that before. I don't like having to be asked for money. Like people should give just because they're charitable. And it's like, so how would they know where to give?
You don't have to explain your weird justification to me. Like you
can just say no too.
Yeah,
you can just tell me no.
You're like, believe me, a lot of you fucking East Coasters do. Yeah, but for me, it's like it doesn't matter.
I'm tired of being a corporate shill.
So hopefully, I won't always have to be, because although I wouldn't say I'm as much of a shill, but of course I do. I am a part of the machine of a corporation. So, so Natalie, do you
know the Muffin Man? I do.
Shut the hell up, bitch.
Okay, that's all I have to say to that.
You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going to kill you.
Quote. The Muffin Man. He was the one who said that.
Go kill yourself. Go sit in the middle of the road and let a car run over.
No, I'm just kidding. So, do you, this now age-old debate? Do you believe a hot dog is a sandwich?
It's like one of those things that I just like don't really care too much about.
Well, let's say there's a gun to your head. And for some reason, no.
I'm like, thank God, finally.
Yeah, pull the fucking trigger. You know what the hot dog is? It's a dinner plate. Whatever it could be.
An edible dinner plate.
It's an inedible, piece of time. It's not even made of matter. Just something so wildly incorrect that they'll just shoot you. No, but
let's hope so.
Well. I thought of that, as I'm sure many people did, when I saw this ruling legally in Indiana, finding that, quote, tacos and burritos are Mexican-style sandwiches. Now, on one hand, I did find myself quite upset, and I get so whiny about the Connections puzzle. Shout out to Kelsey
Yeah,
doing
she was
Connections with
loving
me this past weekend. I love the game, but sometimes I'm like, what the no, that
bullshit.
You know, it'd be like if you're correcting
Jackal.
a teacher, like you're in
Yeah.
5th grade, and you're like, well, actually, but that doesn't work. You didn't ask it like this, and it's like, shut up,
bitch.
bitch-ass kid. Yeah, you're
Shut the
fucking
hell up,
10.
bitch.
Fuck
Yeah.
you. That's what my teachers always
is
said. They're just
yeah.
like,
You're so
was gonna-
selfish and stupid when you do that.
yeah. And then, and then my best friend just came in and he's like, no.
Oh my god.
But that's American school for you. Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
No,
Please.
the teacher would say that.
Stop. You're fucking annoying me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I was going to say, side note, Connections made me all mad when I had so much trouble with the category, and it was, what was it? It was like ways to get bread at the deli or something. And one of them was wrap. And I was like, okay, maybe you can
That's
get a wrap.
tortilla.
That's not bread. It's in a tortilla. And that isn't. No es pan. Okay?
Yeah, it's a tortilla. It's not bread.
It's
It's a tortilla.
You don't bake it. You don't bake it. It's not bread.
It's a tortilla.
It's a tortilla. Yeah, I just where can I find like some racist things on my soundboard?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Humby's
I
gonna
don't
love
have
that.
any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
Hey,
the
at least we
N-word.
pronounced
Yeah,
tortilla
correctly.
pretty well, as far as I can tell.
I would say that as well.
LOL.
What?
I would say that as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say that, comma, Aswell, my
Yeah.
partner at the law firm. So yeah, let's see. Now, of course, this is like on a technicality that's probably for the good of this restaurant, so that they fall under certain rules because of sandwiches. Like, because even with like hot food, like Subway, you could toast it, and your chicken is hot and your cheese is melted. So, I mean, it really kind of blurs the line with like hot food, because generally a sandwich isn't. And I'm sure there's different health code rules, maybe a different permit you need when you're in Indiana. But I think this is because maybe even just like zoning and city planning. So because the Indiana judge declaring that tacos and burritos are sandwiches, Mexican style sandwiches, has cleared the way for the opening of a new restaurant, delighting a restaurateur following a legal battle. Martin Quintana, 53, has been trying for about 3 years to open his second The Famous Taco location in Fort Wayne, a city about 120 miles northeast of Indianapolis. Yeah, more like Fort... dang it.
Don't start unless you have something.
More like Fort...
Shut the hell up, bitch.
Exactly.
Yeah, so because... he sued the Fort Wayne Plan Commission in December 2022 after it denied his proposed amendment that would specifically allow his restaurant to offer made-to-order tacos, burritos, and other Mexican-style food items. Because, let's see here. Because, they had their development plans at a plaza that Quintana owns, limits the business to, quote, a sandwich bar-style restaurant whose primary business is to sell made-to-order or Subway-style sandwiches. I don't know why that's in there. I mean, there's important things that go into like city planning and how you lay things out. Although I would imagine that so many places across the country, even with all that effort in, isn't exactly conducive to good quality of life, it's just about being able to make the most bucks for whatever businesses are existing there. It's not really for, we need this kind of restaurant here, and we need a coffee shop here, and we need a little mechanic here and stuff like that, because then everything's within walking distance. No, that's not why.
We don't care.
So that people can have a walkable 15-minute city. No, it's Fort Wayne, Indiana. Or as we call it, Fort...
Shut the hell up, bitch.
And
we do.
But that's funny, making it so specific, and still it's like, number one, it's like either you have to look at the intent of that language, where it's like, we just don't want, we want to make sure if there's a restaurant here, if we just say restaurant, there could be like some $150 a plate, fancy place, or a McDonald's franchise will try to swoop in, or something that they don't want there.
Yeah.
And so they're trying, if it's by the intent of their regulations, their regulated guidelines, then maybe it's like, hey, but my restaurant fits that intent.
Yeah.
They're like, but you know what? Sorry, too bad. It's for sandwiches. Sandwiches, buddy.
Sandwiches
there's obviously
only.
like some sandwich freak that's on the city council or something like that. He's like, what's all this then? How they talk and
not on my watch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the basic accent for people that live in Fort.
Shut the hell up, bitch.
And Indiana. And or it's like, or if not, then this guy's just trying to get around it, like, fine, let's actually take it to court, even if the intent was to specifically have sandwiches and they don't want Mr. Quintana's tacos there or something, and they tried to write the regulations in order to exclude his restaurant, then fine. Then we'll take it to court and see if a judge has to
decide,
over what kind of food tacos and burritos are. They're
yummy,
made ready to eat. It's a quick thing. Yeah, they're better than most sandwiches.
Yeah,
unless Natalie's making your sandwich. Top tier sandwich maker.
Oh yeah. I got some practice.
But it's funny too when it's like you get all this done. You even get like a little headline because a judge rules that tacos and burritos are sandwiches, and it's like, now you still have to do your restaurant there, and like some of these people are just gonna fucking hate your guts. I mean, that's how it goes in business, like small businesses and stuff. Not everyone is always 100% on board, and if you go through with it, you're probably not going to change their mind. But it is just kind of funny to, it's almost like it reminds me of like, if you sued successfully for wrongful termination or something, so you get your job
rehired
back and you go back to work there? No.
They're like, hi.
That sounds like a nightmare. It's like George Costanza coming back to work and pretending like nothing happened back in that early Seinfeld
like
episode.
He didn't quit like the day before or
like,
whatever.
Oh, come on. That was a joke. He's like, you called me a jerk in front of everyone. It's my face.
Kidding.
You called me fat or something. But and George is just like,
so forget about it, cuz.
Don't worry about it. I'm back on the
roster.
On the leads. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. The court agrees with Quintana that tacos and burritos are Mexican-style sandwiches, and the original written commitment does not restrict potential restaurants to only American cuisine-style sandwiches.
That's what I was thinking. It seemed like really like sandwich, because I'm like, what are we talking about? The Earl of Sandwich here? Like, what is a sandwich? And like, who just gets to decide? I mean, like, or why it's so important.
Have you ever had a sandwich from the Earl of Sandwich, that restaurant, that sandwich place?
No.
Pretty good.
Not
I
as
don't
good
know if
as
they're
my
still around,
sandwiches.
but I had they have a little chain or something. But yep, still doesn't hold a candle to Natalie's sandwiches.
Thanks.
If you try to make a sandwich that's as good as Natalie's,
You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going to kill you.
yeah.
Nice.
But
Okay, Natalie.
yeah,
Thank you.
anyone new that takes a bite into one of Natalie's sandwiches, they're like,
Okay, Natalie.
It's true. Every
no
time.
joke. I was just grocery shopping today, and I thought of you and
Oh.
sandwiches because I was looking at like some different mustards, something to spice things up on a sandwich, and I saw some sweet hot mustard, and I was like, okay, maybe with like
yum.
some sort of like honey oat wheat bread or something.
Yum,
And I was
yeah.
like, what would Natalie do?
Oh,
It's like with
yeah.
with some red onion and tomato and some avocado, turkey. Woo, boy!
Oh, yeah.
Do it
Some
just
sort of
right.
white cheese. Yeah.
That's
White
what it
cheese,
is. I
yeah.
was using Velveeta.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the same.
And like-
All that, yeah, on some artisan bread.
Yeah, and then just slop
then I
on
have
some
this
melted
old Velveeta.
Velveeta.
So yeah, Fort Wayne, or as we call it, Fort
Shut the hell up, bitch.
is actually Indiana's second most populous city with about 270,000 residents.
I wonder if they know that nobody else in America knows that or even cares about it at all.
They're like, interesting fact, and it's like, is it though?
Yeah,
Is it?
like when literally nobody
Like,
cares.
oh, gee whiz, I thought it was Gary.
Yeah, and then even then, I still didn't care.
That's like Dad years ago, where he was like, Lind, huh? Hey, that's the third largest city in Adams County, Washington.
Not saying much.
950 people.
Yeah.
So what's cool is that Quintana said he came to the U.S. from Mexico in 1988, first working as a farm worker in California, picking grapes, olives, and oh my God, this website.
This website.
And kiwi fruit before entering the restaurant business in Michigan, before moving to Chicago, and finally
Chicago.
and then finally Fort
Shut the hell up, bitch.
in 2001. He also operates a second restaurant in the city. He's already got a successful restaurant. That's right, the Famous Taco. I forgot, that was in the beginning. Should open in 2 or 3 months. He said that like his other The Famous Taco location that opened nearly 7 years ago, customers will be able to choose their favorite toppings for tacos, burritos, or tortas. Well, that's a sandwich. I mean,
That's
straight up.
literally a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so, I mean, if that's a Mexican-style sandwich, is a burrito, that is really analogous to, if you're looking at American cuisine-style sandwiches, is a hot dog a sandwich? It's got the meat in between meat in bread with your condiments on it, whatever toppings. I mean, if both a torta and a burrito are Mexican style sandwiches, then I guess the answer is clear in my mind that, I mean, a hot dog is also a sandwich. And I believe that the judge presiding over this so important case would
Agrees.
agree with me.
I
rest my case.
And the judge is like, so you're saying your argument is that you think I'll agree with you?
I rest my case.
I said I rest my case.
And scene. And scene. Case closed. Who are you? So other notable things: former West Virginia House Minority Leader Doug Scaff Jr. bitten by snakes while removing campaign signs. I just thought that was funny.
We did.
I don't
think
even
that
know
was
anything
pretty
about
humorous.
the
Yeah.
guy. 5 more cocaine bricks wash up on Sydney beaches as drug mystery deepens. I don't like mysteries. It's too scary for me.
Yeah. Too scary. Next.
You know what's funny is that it's even a headline, honestly, at this point, and it still caught me. But I was like, wait a minute, what year is this? Trump demands drug test for Biden ahead of first debate. Mm-hmm. We've already been here. Like,
been there.
The boy's on drugs. Don't worry about it, bro.
Yeah.
like, I mean, I think it's been made pretty clear.
Hope so. God. Yes. He's exactly. 1,000. Yeah.
It's like, so what? It's like, if, I mean, what is it going to disqualify him from, if drugs are going to help Biden mentally in a debate, so that's the only competition you have to worry about, or like competitive event that you could complain about PEDs, let's say. Because otherwise, for whoever's just president, I'm not going to say that taking drugs, performance-enhancing drugs, is a bad thing at all.
Bad thing?
You're president.
I want you to perform
if it takes
at
Adderall
peak.
or Xanax or like some sort of research chemical from the CIA cocaine or whatever, go
like
for it.
Aren't already.
Sounds good. I mean, honestly, outside of just religious nuts, it's like, I would think most people would kind of agree, where it's like, if it only makes the president do a better job, yeah,
please make it mandatory.
Who cares? Yeah, exactly. It's
you
like,
better be on drugs.
So if you're worried about the integrity of the game, Mr. Trump, there is, I don't think there is or should be a rule against taking a performance-enhancing drug before the debates. So take them too. If you have some drugs you can use, like if you just have to rail a bunch of Sudafed and take more Adderall, go for it. I'm not gonna be mad, Trump. It's like, if you take a bunch of the wrong drugs, that'll be awesome too. And he's up there, what the fuck is going on with this guy?
I don't
He's
really
just all
even
chill.
Fucking care.
He just took a bunch of Benadryl.
What is this?
He's like kind of sweating. Yeah. I don't even know what I'm doing this for. Folks, I'm tired. It's just like, what am I doing?
I'm just so tired.
Just leave me alone. I just want to go to Mar-a-Lago. If I just don't run, will you just drop all these charges against me? And then he just shambled home to Mar-a-Lago, and unfortunately, the end of our story was
he died, and when baboons kidnapped and ate him.
And that was the end of Mr. Trump.
It was such a beautiful story, folks.
I cannot do a Donald Trump. I can't do pretty much anyone. Although one of you said that I had a good John Benjamin, and I was really surprised because I wasn't trying to do it. It was only, well, I guess from Humby, anyone could do a good impression.
Oh, yeah. No. They stink at impressions.
They stink. Yeah, no, I think.
Awesome to the max.
No, they're really bad at them. Like, really bad at them. It's like very funny.
I think I mostly am too. So let's see. Could talk about important things. We could talk about baboons eating Trump's face, or killing and eating him. Although I mean, I would, but I think we already covered that.
I think we got that under control.
Let's see.
Dead air.
Okay. I had a thought. Gosh, I wish I had put more context into this. I feel like maybe this is like a really, I mean, I know it is a really online take, but that's the circles that we're in, right? I mean, leftists, filtered through connections made online for the most part. But I mean, we're doing a fucking podcast, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But,
how much worse could we get?
yeah.
Go kill yourself. Go sit in the
Seriously.
middle of the road and let a car run over you.
Doug, the only reason I want to have sex with you is so I can have an abortion.
It says every woman I come
Everyone.
across now, they're all quoting the show, I think,
Yeah. That you come across.
which is quoting our show, quoting another show. And speaking of that show that we're quoting with that sound drop, I feel like the purity testing cancel culture section of the left, which does exist, you know,
For sure.
would honestly be more upset with Bernie Sanders going on Cumtown than Bernie going on Tucker Carlson or Joe Rogan. And it's like it's a strange thing where it's like, I understand when people are talking about actual actual political ramifications and how media is used and, optics in electoral politics. But so often, I mean, and it's easy for all of us is the problem. I don't want to just rag on the terminally online.
Why?
But
It's so easy.
It happened. Well, yeah, but because it's just whining, from me. But it's just whining about whiners. But there is a reason that they exist. Why that's a path to go down. Like why this happens. Why we get these purity testings and like actual cancel culture, as I see it. Like in my head, it always goes back to like ContraPoints' great video on it from a couple years ago, where it's more like you're demanding that someone apologize because you still associate with or have not condemned a friend of yours who did something bad or went on a show with someone else who did something bad. You know what I mean? Where it's like, where is this actually going though? Where does accountability come from? It's just beating everyone down. Where it's like, so like it's just such a great example of this, or like Flashpoint catalyst for these sort of conversations is a thing like Cumtown, which doesn't exist anymore, but the Adam Friedland show still exists. They still bring in $100,000 a month on Patreon or something like that. America's favorite center-left talk show, but especially in its beginning days, would still do a Cumtown style, incredibly offensive humor. You just come close to like saying
The N-word.
and then you just say
And scene.
and that's Stavros from Cumtown for those people that don't know what it is or don't listen to it, but Chapo Trap House adjacent podcast that many people found offensive, and for good reason. Whatever. I mean, it's a interesting conversation in my mind to talk about. What's actually harmful in comedy and yada yada, and what irony does. It's all interesting to me because I'm privileged enough for none of it to harm me whatsoever. So
For sure.
that's one thing. But it's like, I truly believe that because that style of cancel culture that I was alluding to earlier, if someone went on the Adam Friedland show, people immediately think, yeah, but that's where they, engage in misogynistic and ableist stuff. There was the big issue with Matty Healy or whatever going on that show and getting kind of canceled because of their their jokes. I mean, and whether you think they're funny or harmful or not, it is what it is. about. I'm not going to talk about the actual show itself, but I remember when it happened because it was really funny because Maddie Healy was dating Taylor Swift, and everyone realized that Taylor Swift was learning about the existence of Cumtown, and she broke up with him. You know, they broke up, and people will still bring that up, like, oh. He went on that disgusting show and said disgusting things, you know? And it's like, so, I mean, it just asks the question again and again and again, like, what is the purpose of the actual cancel culture that we have to worry about and which can be good, you know, where it's like, hey, this person unrepentantly did XYZ, you know, you find out more about an online figure or a thinker or, you know, celebrity, whatever it might be, and be like, you know what, I'm not going to support that. You know, people get their support through, they make their living through my views, you know, like online views, and so I'm going to take that away from them. I mean, that can make sense, but what's the end game when it's like, well, just imagine it's like, well, Bernie Sanders, he went on the Adam Friedland show, you know, or something. If that happened, I mean, it would be amazing. But
oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, I recommend the Adam Friedland show, but if you don't like it, you don't like it. But it's like, you know, people would be happier to cancel him over that, while they would want to be able to justify him going on Tucker Carlson's show. Do you agree?
I do. I was just thinking that too, like where it's like not even just go on Tucker Carlson's show, like literally work with the people he works with, like other congressmen and congresspeople and congresswomen. It's like, you know, if you want to take a stand, then I guess you just wouldn't be a part of the American government at all. You know, like part of what they're doing. It's like, is there such thing as like means to an end or anything like that? Is there any room for like trying to get something done and to build a bigger community, and also with like canceling and shit
also
like
just
that.
to live your life as a human being outside of, I mean, and not needing to take responsibility for other people's actions. Like you're not going to say, Bernie Sanders remained in Congress while Denny Hastert was the Senate Majority Leader. It's like, everyone in Congress did. You know, I don't know what to tell you. And Denny Hastert got in trouble for it. Thank God.
Like some of those, like people getting canceled and like people still remaining friends and all this kind of stuff. To those people, I would say, so what do you think? Someone losing all their friends is going to drive them to like the left side when it's leftists that are straight up canceling them. That's like exactly the opposite of what's going to happen, especially friends. It's like, no, I get to decide that I do have the bandwidth to keep someone toxic in my life because I want to help them grow, like because I love them and I care about them. It's not about me and my ego, you know, it's about like knowing that I do have the capacity to have patience for this person because I love them so much and I know them, and I can say that's not cool when you're saying that. I have the ability, I have the respect that is needed in these situations for someone to take you seriously, you know. Losing your friends and the people who could fucking call you out in a way that you would actually listen because it's someone that they give a shit about saying these things. It's like, that's a really important thing to have, you know, otherwise you're just going to be berated by people you think are assholes and don't care about you. And why would that drive you to be more of a leftist if you think that everyone is just some gatekeeping asshole that's gonna throw you off even if you're doing something wrong? It's like, then you have to do it exactly right, you know, otherwise you're gonna be literally told that your friends shouldn't be friends with you anymore, like there is no room for growth, and that the only place that's gonna accept you, I mean, is some place where they really don't care about any shit like that, and that's not where you want someone to go, I would say. But
and to reiterate too, anytime, at least on this show or something, or in this conversation at least, if we're talking about cancel culture, so-called, it's not the colloquial term used right now. It's like you know, the cancel culture that matters to me that is like is the real cancel culture. It's real leftism. Leftists canceling leftists, or leftists canceling liberals, even with good intentions, stuff like that. Not nowadays. It's like, oh, they're gonna get canceled. It's like, no, they're gonna get boycotted, or they're gonna lose their job because they're an asshole. I don't care about any of that. It's not worth having a conversation about. But in our online spheres, which can have like a snowballing effect into real life, whether that's good or bad, I mean, I was going to say is up to you, but doesn't matter. It is.
Yeah.
It's what it's.
It's what
as
it's.
we often say.
Oh, how I wish I could believe or understand that.
But I think, to your point, even the opposite end of the spectrum from that is also valid, where it's like, let's say you're getting popular and people look to you for your opinions, and they're saying, hey, well, she still hasn't disowned or condemned or still is friends with blank, who is a problematic figure. And they expect you to do that, even if it's the opposite end, where it's not the noble thing, like you're saying, like, hey, I have my values, and I think being friends with this person, still like not publicly condemning this person that I've known, isn't a good means to an end. The opposite end of the spectrum would be like, I'm a human being, and it really isn't on me to do these things to make things quote unquote right to you people online, right?
You people.
Yeah, what do you mean, you people? I mean, you fucking people.
I mean, you in particular.
People on Twitter. All of you people that I have muted currently on Twitter. But
Billy West.
Because,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have Billy West muted. Oh, did we not talk about that? Yeah, shout out to me. Getting blocked by Billy West. Dang it, that's right. I was even going to say at the beginning, I was like, and from now on, we're not going to do any Futurama drops, and then I just did
I
one.
was like, I wish I could believe
You're
or
like,
understand
no
that.
Futurama drops. Oh, how I wish I could believe or understand that. That's John DiMaggio, so whatever, but...
Fry's my favorite, so sorry.
But, yeah, I got... that whole situation was someone like Billy West getting caught up in exactly this kind of behavior online, to be honest. I wouldn't want him. I don't think he needs to publicly condemn someone like Mark Hamill, and not even Mark Hamill for being problematic, so-called, but for not using his platform for good as people would want him to. And they're upset about Mark Hamill doing a press conference for the Biden administration, even though he's supposedly anti-Zionist and blah, 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 blah. Just some 24-hour news thing for online freaks like me. But at the same time, like, that behavior is part of what made Billy West insanely defensive, because he's friends with Mark Hamill, and when people were criticizing anything about the situation, he was being illogically defensive of his friend
emotional.
and being really fucking weird about it. I mean, I'm really not missing out on much, but it was really disappointing that I interacted with Billy West, an absolute fucking icon. I interacted with him on Twitter, and then he blocked me after telling me he loved me.
You made an impression.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, it's quite a roller coaster there.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it was that kind of thing, that people we're kind of trying to, move the needle in that direction of this, what can sometimes be constructive. It's not canceling at that point. It's call out culture or whatever, like people used to say.
Accountability culture.
Yeah, exactly. And we see where it ended up. Now Billy West just thinks, he's like, man, all of you guys are fucking crazy. All of you pro-Palestine people are insane, It's like, and he wasn't a Zionist.
If someone gets that from some stupid interactions online, then they're fucking stupid too.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, if someone's going to get that from like, of course, making any statement like, man, all of them are like that because you have like a bad experience. And it's like, well, you just weren't really willing to engage with this in a real way to begin with, because that's a ridiculous and very, very, very like simplistic and childish way to look at something.
I did,
but
I did just get caught up in Billy West being a freak online in a way, really. He was just being a fucking freak that entire morning, because it's not like I'm the only person he was replying to. That's for fucking sure.
Sure.
But little things like that it really ruined my morning. I'm just some guy, and I was like, what? I couldn't stop
just this
thinking
guy,
about it. I was like, fucking Billy West blocked me on Twitter. How weird is that? That sucks. But whatever.
It really sucks.
It's like, you know what, Billy West, I want to cancel you anyway, because you've definitely done some problematic stuff all your times on the Howard Stern show back in the day. So fuck off anyway. I'm a more pure person than you. I've totally never said problematic things. Let alone when the microphones are off and Natalie has to listen to me.
Yeah,
okay,
our stuff is so incredibly PC. Yeah.
No, I'm just constantly wandering around town, just muttering and repeating.
I need to see a dick.
Over and over again. I mean, you take that as you will. I mean, when people are close enough to me, you could call it sexual harassment, but I'm not.
But I was going to say it regardless of whether or not they were around.
I'm still saying it when they're not there. So, I mean, I'm just.
That's got to count for something.
I'm just crazy like that, I'm just kind of. I'm like
not
a
like
manic,
other guys, except for that is like a lot like other guys. So, walking around talking about
Nick
dicks.
Fuentes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He
Shout out to
trouble for something.
Shout out to Nick Fuentes is not something I would really say.
Want to be associated with?
What an idiot. What's funny is I did keep seeing it. There was this back and forth for a couple of days with George Santos. Your favorite person in the world.
I love George Santos.
Him just being an unrestrained weirdo on Twitter is so much better than him being in Congress. That's for sure. But that's
because he's a little trolling bitch.
Him. But he was trolling Nick Fuentes, who, I mean, this only happens because Elon lets Nick Fuentes back on Twitter. It's free speech. Free speech.
We love her.
Free speech.
Love her.
One of my Twitter mutuals the other day had the warning on her tweet, visibility limited, because it may be breaking rules because she used the word
Iluma.
Cracker. Yes.
Oh my god.
That's the free speech platform that is so free speechy about all of its free speechiness that they let Nick Fuentes back on. Like just an unrepentant, known, avowed Nazi. Along with, other neo-Nazis have been let back onto the platform for a while too.
Nice.
But
sick.
he's just one of the much more well-known ones. Because he's a wormy piece of shit. Can we just
say last name? Like, say it for 1 second. His last name is Fuentes, and he's he's a Nazi. I just want everyone to hear. Just maybe some things are starting to click. Maybe these Nazis don't have it all figured out.
He's a shame.
Despite Yeah. Despite what I thought.
Well, that's like when Stone Toss got outed, that cartoonist on Twitter, that was on fire for a day because they straight up figured out who he was, posted this huge thread, pretty much doxed him in a way, but unmasked the anonymous person behind a wildly popular fascist cartoon. You know, and man, I used to have that whole thread bookmarked. It was factual. It was very well researched, but there was something in there about him being ashamed of part Latinx heritage or something like that too. So, but anyway, George Santos trolling Nick Fuentes, asking him if he was gay. Like at first it seemed like just one of those, I mean, kind of homophobic things of everyone who's like lashes out as anti-gay homophobes. They're in the closet, you know. I mean, that's true sometimes, but it's not a thing. Like, you know, you can't do that. It's homophobic, but
For sure.
But he was. I even saw like a tweet somewhere, and he was like responding, quote tweeting Nick Fuentes again, saying like, I don't know, nowhere in there did you still haven't said no. You didn't actually say no that time either, Nick. Just tell us, just come out and admit it. You'll be a lot happier, kind of thing. And then a couple days later, Nick Fuentes streaming online, doing his little Nazi show, had a tab with gay pornography open. And streamed gay
that doesn't
pornography.
necessarily mean that you're gay, but it is interesting, you know. But, you know, just because you like gay porn doesn't mean you're gay. Because I know lesbians, though, I mean, I guess they're gay, but lesbians who watch all
because here
all
on this
guy
show,
gay
we always
porn.
say lesbians are not gay.
It's kind of a weird stance we're taking, but you know what? We're sticking to it.
Yeah, and that's because
everyone is stupid except me.
Yeah, we're going to have to stick with Simpsons. No more Billy West. I can't take... Oh, I have this whole thing of Ren and Stimpy drops. Never going to be used. Not until Billy West unblocks me. Get it trending. No. Just so
kind of
you
a
can
long
see
one.
me posting really stupid stuff, you know, about how 706 people named Kyle got together in Texas, and it wasn't enough for a world record. That's something interesting.
I remember the Kyle sort of thing.
You know what's funny, though? I even said, I was like, they didn't even come close. Why is it? Nice job, Kyle. Since you can just say that, and it's talking to any of these 700 people.
Excuse me. Losers.
Attempting but failing to break the world record for the largest gathering of people with one name. 706 people. They gathered in a place called Kyle, Texas. The current record is held by a Bosnian town with 2,325 people named Ivan in 2017. The Kyles in Kyle, Texas previously attempted to beat the record, and the last time they had almost 1,500 people. What are you doing, Kyle?
Not even close.
What's going on?
And it was in Texas? I thought everything was bigger in Texas.
In Texas?
Exactly.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, Kyle,
Suck my dick, idiot.
then that's the end of the show. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
Bitches leave.
Okay. All right. Thanks for letting me really go on and on and on. And
I was coloring.
At the end of the day, my message to you is me. I'm doing pretty good. I had a few days of sleeping in and playing music. And, you know, handful of
Life
caps
is
and
good.
stems that don't hurt too much either. So,
Definitely don't hurt. Definitely don't hurt at all.
yeah, they don't hurt anything. Okay. Well, I love you. Shout out to everyone.
I love you.
Shout out to R.M. Brown.
Love you.
our Lord and
Savior.
Savior,
Zach, Humby,
Mia,
whoever else, all you beautiful, beautiful people choosing to
How
listen
do I
to this.
possibly figure out this impossible riddle? Thank you, Life, you asshole.
But shout out to R.M. Brown.
That was a really nice one. Thanks, Inane Blather.
You're welcome. And
Thank you.
hey, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.